were in a driveway in Salt Lake. This happened in the Wilson Avenues neighborhood, where police say a family member had been loading their SUV and slowly backing out when they hit the child. Officers on the scene gave the child CPR and took them to the hospital, where they later died. Salt Lake City Police Department's Brent Weisberg says this is looking like an accident and a terrible tragedy.
Not only for the family involved, but for this community. Anytime we have one of these calls involving a child, like I said, it really impacts our officers.
Social workers also came to the scene to help those involved. A man is dead after he was hit by an SUV in Salt Lake City last night. Police say the 46-year-old was crossing State Street outside of a crosswalk near 500 South when he was hit. Police say despite their efforts to save the man, he died at the scene. Officials say the SUV had a green light to travel through the intersection, and the driver did not show signs that they were impaired. Our top national story this hour from ABC News: the Department of Government Efficiency will continue to run without its leader. ABC's Rachel Scott has more.
Elon Musk is done as a special government employee. The news coming after Musk broke with the president on his budget bill. Musk concerned about the level of spending that some estimate could add $3.8 trillion over the next 10 years to the deficit, thanking the president for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending.
The White House insists that Musk did leave on good terms and told he will continue to serve as an unofficial advisor to the president. Your money at this moment: the Dow is off 34 points. We're at 42,182. Coming up, hot weather for the weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
The Utah RV Palooza is ready for another round of RV savings. But this time, we're hooking you up, South Salt Lake County. June 5th through the 7th, we're bringing our packed inventory of new and used RVs to you on Harriman Main Street, just south of Winco. Shop all the best RV brands fit for any budget and all at show pricing. You'll find payments starting under $139 per month on approved credit on select new RVs, and clearance pricing on all remaining new 2024s while they last. You'll also get 90 days of all play and no pay OAC. Start shopping the best deals now at UtahRVPalooza.com, and it's the only show featuring the full lineup from Wayfinder RV, available exclusively through Bish's. Plus, every RV purchase receives a free 1-year RV Fix membership, your fast track to RV service repairs. All this plus free admission to the Utah RV Palooza, June 5th through the 7th on Harriman Main Street, just south of Winco. See you in Harriman.
Based on approved credit, 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock number 89922. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Deal number 822B426B.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Do you need new windows? Look, all glass pretty much looks the same to the naked eye, but if your windows aren't triple-coated, argon-filled and sealed double-pane glass, the cold is seeping in. You need to call Advanced Window Products. They use the highest quality glass and premium vinyl to create state-of-the-art windows and frames, and for 38 years, they build those frames right here in Utah. Custom crafted for Utah's climate. The best windows you can buy at prices 30 and 40% less than what the big companies charge because they cut out the middleman. They're the factory. They even give you a lifetime warranty, and right now as we head into spring, save an extra $2,500 off 10 windows or more. Custom windows that'll give your house a fresh new look and save you money on your heating and air conditioning. Advanced Windows offers 60-month 0% financing, even buy now, pay later, and an extra $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here's Burl Johansson.
Heading north and southbound I-15 between Ogden and Provo. No major delays. I-80 east and westbound between Park City and Tooele. Looking good on the 201 freeway as well. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and Swinyer Woseth Dermatology is reminding you to take care of your skin. Visit dwoseth.com and schedule your body scan today. dwoseth.com. Burl Johansson in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be hot this weekend with highs in the 90s. Then it'll cool down Monday with some scattered rain showers. Right now it's 73 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
I cannot wait to talk about our top local story, which is the governor's push to get more starter homes built in the state of Utah. We have 5,100 or so built since he began this initiative about a year and a half ago, but he wants to get to 35,000. But before we get there, Adam Gardner of Inside Sources in our afternoon, one of our co-hosts of Inside Sources, Political Insider, is on the microphone.
Thanks so much for having me.
I love your energy
It is
already.
awesome to be co-hosting with you. It's been too long. I'm glad to be back.
How long has it been since we've been together on this show?
Probably about 2 or 3 months. So it's been a little bit of time.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited to spend this Friday morning with you, Adam. Remind our listeners a little bit about your resume. I know a lot of our listeners are really familiar with your voice, especially in the afternoon, right here as one of the co-hosts of Inside Sources over the last several months. But now some of our early morning listeners.
Well, I remember I got a call from KSL early one morning, and they said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing radio?" And I said, "Not a day in my life have I ever thought about doing radio. I don't think I could do it." And ever since I've come here and been on Inside Sources, we covered the first 100 days of the Trump administration. We covered the legislative session, got to do a number of shows up at the state capitol, which was a fun time. And I like to say my resume is I just can't keep a job for very long. So I've worked in the tech industry for a little bit. I worked for Congressman Rob Bishop for a while up in northern Utah. I was in his Ogden office. I worked in D.C. for a little bit. I worked for Senator Romney as his state director for a number of years. I was in the legislature and was a county elected official here in Salt Lake County. And now my current day job is government relations, and it's a blast.
Well, I can't beat that resume, so let's just talk about home building.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Maybe you're going to tell me you're a developer, too.
I wish. It seems to be nowadays that's where all the money is.
So Utah Governor Spencer Cox initiated this push about a year and a half ago. We've had a lot of coverage on our show talking about his initiative to get 35,000 starter homes built in the state of Utah by 2028. So first-time home buyers can get into their first home, build equity, get that ownership feeling, get away from renting, feel like they've got a permanent place to start a family if that's what they want to do. As of right now, there are 5,100 homes built. I just did the math on this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's 14%, 14.5%.
We got a ways to go.
Governor calls a whole bunch of local leaders up to Capitol Hill yesterday. They have a meeting, Adam, and they talk about getting on board and getting as excited as the governor is about getting these starter homes built. What's your overarching take on maybe why we're not maybe at 30% or 40% right now?
Well, it's interesting. I think interest rates have a lot to do with it.
That's where you're going right away.
There's a lot of people that can't afford to get into homes. I mean, I have a 2.3% interest rate. So for me to go into another home, that's just not happening right now. And I think there's a lot of folks that are trying to get into their first home, but it's almost double the cost of what it would have been if their interest rates were much, much lower. So a lot of the home builders aren't able to build as fast as possible. You have two kind of competing interests too. And Governor Spencer Cox has mentioned this before. He's kind of gone after cities quite vigorously, accusing cities of saying that they're not building fast enough. I look at the city of West Jordan, where I live.
Okay.
We have almost 10,000 homes entitled that are ready to be built. So the plots have been permitted. We're ready to go. So the builders just need to build.
10,000 first-time home buyers.
10,000, 10,000 home buyers.
Yeah.
So they're ready to go. But there's a couple of issues that are stopping that. These are West Jordan up against the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine the last time they put sewer, water, or electrical into those areas was 70 years ago, 60 years ago. So all of that has to be upgraded. And to just build, I had no idea until I went to go represent cities in my lobbying practice. But if you can imagine, you're building these new huge subdivisions on the west side of the mountain. If you need to upgrade a sewer pipe to get to the sewage treatment plant, this is not sexy stuff. But it's going to take 9 miles of new pipe through major thoroughfares that all has to be relayed and fixed up, and then a new road. So you can imagine how expensive it is. Plus, we're in an energy crisis right now. We don't have power to get to these homes. I'm very proud of the governor and the legislature. They're taking some really outside of the box steps to get more infrastructure built, especially more electricity. But yeah, there's a lot of home spaces available for people to build. Picture this. There was one subdivision in my city, had 70 new homes, all starter homes. That's what the city wanted and pushed the developers to do, 2,000 square foot homes. The second those were entitled, the developer immediately sold it to American Homes for rent, and now they're all $3,000 a month rentals. So it does not solve the housing crisis.
We have a similar situation out where I live with leased homes. They were building a subdivision not too far for where I moved to South Jordan a few years ago. I was like, oh, there's a new subdivision going. I'm really curious about this. And then one day I was driving by and the sign went up for lease.
That's how it is. So it's not.
Lease.
You talk about that ownership feeling of being able to get in your starter home, so then you can get to one as your family grows, and that's just not the reality right now.
So my take is a little different than yours about why it's taken the governor a little bit of time. I thought maybe more time than I thought it would take to really get this first-time home build push off the ground. We have 5,100 homes under the 35,000 home goal that he has built right now. So there's a long way to go. My take is it's a lot of NIMBYism. So when the local mayors, the local city councils go out to start talking to the constituents, residents about, we're going to put a more dense housing development across the street from where you're living right now, a lot of people start showing up and flooding City Hall and say, we don't want that. We don't want that in our backyard. What is it going to do to traffic? What is it going to do to crime? What is it going to do to the safety of our community? And I've seen a lot of pushback over the years from residents who already set roots down in those communities. So I think they're up against that as well. Let's ask Holly Richardson, editor of Utah Policy. Also going to be the new host of the all-new Inside Sources on June 9th. So my last day here at Broadcast House, Holly, is June 6th. You and Greg...
One more week.
Yeah, I know. You and Greg Skordas take over the new Inside Sources at 9 a.m. Starting Monday the 9th. But actually, I think I caught this story today from the Deseret News, and it was you posted it in Utah Policy. So what's your
right.
So Adam Gardner's been here with me this morning. You've been listening to his take and my take. What's your take?
Well, I think that you have both pointed out that there's multiple factors that make this a difficult problem to solve. One of the factors you haven't mentioned is that a lot of construction workers are here maybe undocumented, and so that has put a damper across the country on home building, especially if there are ICE raids coming. And we just saw that happen in Florida yesterday with Tallahassee. Everybody shut down and went home. So that's an additional factor. But yeah, NIMBYism is part of it. I think the infrastructure is part of it. I think people doing Airbnb type rentals or either, investment things, that's part of it. It's just really interesting that we have the desire, I think, even in the NIMBYism, people will say, yes, I know we need more houses. Yes, I want my kids to be able to buy a house in Utah, but I don't want them here in that area, right? This is a half an acre lot area. We don't want these multifamily units or starter homes. One of the things, too, that they started just last week talking about is starter condos, right? So people can actually purchase a condo for their first house and at least get started in building some equity that way. So lots and lots of factors coming into play here.
Talk about this this meeting that Governor Cox had with all of these mayors at the governor's mansion. Is there anything new that came out of that meeting?
I don't know that there really is anything new. And the governor said this was not a I'm going to beat you until you comply kind of meeting. He said this was just to talk about where we are and how we can improve. One of the things I thought was interesting is the mayor of Clearfield said that his daughter is married to a home builder and they can't afford to get into their own new home. So I don't know what's going on there, right? But starter homes here they're just wildly expensive. In fact, the median home price in Utah is the 7th highest in the nation.
Wow. And I remember 10 years ago when I was looking for a home in West Jordan, the average home cost was $300,000 or $280,000, right. And today it's more than $400,000.
Well, the median for Utah is $595. It's literally
it has jumped that much.
Yeah. This is according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. So yeah, that's the April median home price. And in fact, my own daughter and son-in-law bought their first home last year, and that's the price they paid was $600,000 for a 2,000 square foot starter home.
That's a lot of money, Holly. I'm sure
that's a lot.
I'm sure you said that to them. Holly Richardson, editor of Utah Policy, one of our colleagues here at the Deseret News. And like I've said, new host of the all-new Inside Sources right here at 9 a.m. starting on June 9th. Holly, I'm so excited to listen to you and Greg Skordas starting that Monday. So rest up.
Thanks so much.
Bring your snacks and all of your great takes and, of course, all of your experience as well. I'll see you here probably this afternoon at Broadcast House, but have a great weekend, my friend, and look forward to your new show. Adam, Holly brings up some other great points.
Yeah, she does. In fact, there was she said, there's a lot of these projects that I think are great, but I just don't necessarily want them in my backyard. You mentioned NIMBYism, not in my backyard. And I was working for a developer as a client, and we were doing a public town hall. Come and give us your feedback on this development. And one of the first comments, to your point, stood up and she said, I am not a NIMBYist. I want you to understand that. I love this project. I just don't want it here. And I was like, that's exactly what NIMBYism is. And so I think sometimes we're all a little bit guilty of that.
And might not recognize it. Maybe we need to look in the mirror when it comes to that. So the governor, as part of this, I would call it maybe a relaunch and a reminder to the municipalities, the leaders in these cities that met with him yesterday. He launched this dashboard to kind of help the public track where things are at, and that's where we find out that there's 5,100 first-time homes that have been built under this push that he initiated about a year and a half ago, on the way to the goal of 35,000, which I think has got a long way to go here. But so Caitlin and I, this morning, Caitlin Johnston, our producer, and I sat down and we started looking at this dashboard, and we found that Utah County has absorbed the bulk of these first-time home builds. Not surprising. There's much more land. We're a little more landlocked and built out here in Salt Lake County.
So these are all like the west side of the lake. That's where people are going to be
I think
building.
A lot. Well, and I've made no secret that I spend my Saturday mornings at Zumba in Saratoga Springs, and you can't help but notice all the traffic, all the building that's going on, all the new commercial developments that have come in. But I also think of Spanish Fork and the times that we've taken the show on the road to Spanish Fork. So Spanish Fork Mayor Mike Mendenhall, good morning.
Good morning, Debbie D. and Adam G.
Mayor, you're awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
And he was also, you were at the meeting yesterday with the governor.
Yes, I was present. I saw Mike Maurer save the flag from hitting the ground. I don't know if you guys saw that video clip, but that was pretty cool.
I didn't see that. So
wind blew the Utah flag over, and he caught it just in time.
That's
it was
amazing.
fantastic.
Now I'm going to have to go Google that, Mayor. So this was a private meeting, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Okay.
We had a private meeting with the governor and I think 47 mayors and city managers up in the governor's mansion.
Okay, so you were on a panel, from what I understand, and you were with the mayor of Clearfield and the mayor of Harriman, and you were talking about some of your ideas or challenges that your city's facing. Is your city, first of all, talk about some of the challenges you're experiencing in Spanish Fork. Is it different than what other municipalities across the Wasatch Front are experiencing?
No, not a lot, right? I mean, every city is unique, so we all have our own unique challenges. You mentioned NIMBYism already. I think that's prevalent throughout all cities across the state. Whenever we have a development come in front of city council, we have a public hearing, and people are typically concerned about that farm field, especially down in Utah County. It's usually a farm field that's turning into a subdivision. And so they have concerns about that. But we share a lot of the same concerns across the state in mostly infrastructure. You just mentioned out in Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain, two of the fastest growing places in Utah County. And those cities do not have the money, regardless of how many taxes or fees they could ever collect. They do not have the funds to build hundreds of millions of dollars of roads to get people back to the freeway to travel to work or wherever they need to go. So you have some real issues when it comes to infrastructure, not just after developments, but prior to developments. How do you get the sewer, power, water, to stretch to the next place that people can build homes?
Mayor, give us one more idea to kind of think about, or problem that you think needs to be addressed when it comes to getting more first-time homes built, not only across the Wasatch Front, but across the state. But maybe you can focus on your community of Spanish Fork. When this wakes you up in the middle of the night, like, how am I going to help the state accomplish this goal? What's the one thing that you feel is standing in your way?
Well, yeah, some of the levers that maybe cities can pull, right? And the governor's talked about them, the building communities talked about them, is removing barriers to build. And sometimes that's in some zoning, sometimes that's in some general planning. There's ways we can encourage all types of homes to be built in our communities and still try to maintain and protect and grow the quality of life that people enjoy about the places they live. I will tell you, I think the state legislature has done a good job keeping our overall taxes relatively low in the state of Utah. But I honestly feel sometimes as local government that if we wouldn't always have a tax cut in the state of Utah and say, hey, here's how much, is going back, which when it comes down to it, maybe the individual really doesn't feel that state tax cut in their everyday life. I don't remember my taxes being a lot low when I filed them this year and paid the state money, but it ended up hundreds of millions of dollars that affected the overall budget. I think there's room there that we can collaborate and talk about, well, what is that money available now for municipalities or builders to partner and access to put some of this infrastructure in. I think it could go a long way in reaching the good goal, the passionate goal that the governor has. And look, our communities, our mayors share the similar passion. We're passionate about solving this problem as well.
Well, that was Mike Mendenhall, Spanish Fork mayor. Mayor, thanks so much for being on. I got to say, first of all, I just think it's great that you and other mayors from across the Wasatch Front, across the state, met with the governor. I'm grateful for the governor for actually pulling this meeting together to get everyone on board. He said, I want everyone to be as passionate about this project as I am, and it sounds like that's the case. So thanks so much for being with us. Debbie, I received a text from the West Jordan mayor, Mayor Burton, and he said one of the hardest part is developers make less money on smaller homes, on first-time homes.
Something
and
else
so
to think
it's
about.
really hard, you know, a city, a state, how do you incentivize home builders to do these types of things? So there's a lot of work to do, but I'm glad the state's stepping up and handling it. An op-ed when we come back next, written by Jeff Flake,
This caught your attention.
former senator and ambassador, and again, this was in Holly's newsletter this morning.
Yeah.
I caught this in the Washington Post. He was the senator and ambassador to Turkey and current chair of the World Trade Center, Utah. Jeff Flake is on the line next to discuss his opinion piece, and it was titled, "My Fellow Republicans, the Responsibility to Speak Out Rests with You." We'll talk about that next.
It's been so important in this news show to hear how the news is impacting you.
Midday.
How this is really going to impact your life or your children's safety or your husband's job. To hear that wow moment from you.
Midday with Maria Shilaos.
I invite you to join us from noon to 3 right here on KSL News Radio.
Looking for something fun to do? Then elevate your excitement this summer at the Utah Olympic Park with a Gold Pass. Feel the adrenaline rush of reaching speeds up to 50 miles per hour on extreme tubing. Fly high above the treetops on zip lines. Take a ride down the famous Alpine Slide. All the amazing summer activities are open daily from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Details and tickets for the ultimate Gold Pass this summer. Visit UtahOlympicLegacy.org. That's UtahOlympicLegacy.org. Feeling a little adventurous? Why not try a summer bobsled experience? It's the ride of a lifetime. The Summer Bobsled Experience lets you cruise down the full-length Olympic track used during the 2022 Olympic Winter Games. Driven by a professional pilot, you'll experience 15 turns and reach speeds up to 65 miles per hour. It's truly a ride unlike any other. Details at UtahOlympicLegacy.org. UtahOlympicLegacy.org.
Hey everyone, it's Tammy with Hamlet Homes. And if you've been watching Rock the Block this season, you already know these homes are next level amazing. Well, get ready because you don't have to just watch anymore. You can step inside all 4 of these incredible homes at our block party weekend. Join us May 30th and 31st from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. right here in Grantsville, Utah, and tour all 4 Rock the Block homes built by Hamlet Homes. We're serving up $5 food trucks, fun giveaways, and even better, you'll have the chance to take home a piece of our show at our auction on the block, with proceeds benefiting our amazing friends at Homemade Utah. Come for the homes, stay for the food, and leave feeling inspired, all while supporting a great cause. We can't wait to see you there, because at Hamlet Homes, we don't just build houses, we build experiences. Visit hamlethomes.com for all the details, and let's rock this block together.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with pain in your feet, ankles, knees, hips, or lower back? At the Good Feet store, we recommend having high-quality support in all of your shoes. Our personalized arch support system has helped countless people find relief, like Karen. Here is her Good Feet story.
After I decided my pain was too much, and my doctor actually suggested that I do visit the Good Feet store. Pretty amazing when they put the arch supports in your shoe and you walk around and you realize there's not pain and you think, how can this arch support in my shoe make my back pain go away? But it works. And how can it make my knee pain go away? It was incredible.
Come to the Good Feet store today and see what we can do for you. Good Feet arch supports are in stock and available in over 300 different styles and sizes.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Stop in today at the Good Feet store.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour: the Huntsman Cancer Institute has made a breakthrough when it comes to treating blood cancers by using stem cells from a cadaver. KSL News Radio's Michelle Rowe has the story.
Traditionally, doctors have used a living donor to treat blood cancer patients with stem cell treatments.
Essentially, this now allows us to do transplants much faster than we traditionally can, in terms of being able to get the cells delivered in just as short as even 5 days instead of typically months to identify a donor and to get their cells collected.
Associate Professor of Medicine at the Huntsman Cancer Institute, Sagar Patel, also said this could reduce the need for living donors, reducing the cost to do the procedure, as well as recovery time for the living donor. This clinical trial is in phase 1, and they're recruiting patients around the country to participate. Michelle Rowe, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News: lawmakers are asking questions about government oversight of the cryptocurrency industry.
The Securities and Exchange Commission dropping its lawsuit against Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, ending one of the last remaining crypto enforcement actions from the prior administration, which had accused Binance of mishandling customer money and other violations. Now, the dismissal comes days after Binance began listing USD1. This is a cryptocurrency launched by World Liberty Financial, the crypto firm started by President Trump's family.
ABC News chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky reporting. Your money at this moment: the Dow is up 10 points. We're at 42,226. Coming up, it's going to be a hot one. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Greg Carlisle here for Jordan Camper, your truck accessory headquarters at 7000 South State in Midville. Why do I mention my name? For years, I've been the radio voice for Jordan Camper commercials, but I wanted to speak to you as a satisfied customer this time. I love the Line X protective coating they sprayed on my front and back bumpers of my 2005 Mustang over 5 years ago, and it still looks new. Line X is famous for durable truck bed coatings with a lifetime warranty. Jordan Camper is family owned for 5 generations, and their team has over a combined 175 years in team experience installing truck accessories. I've seen them complete work for hundreds of satisfied customers over the years. These guys are good. Jordan Camper specializes in truck top shells and folding, retractable, and one-piece truck bed covers, and a wide range of accessories from fender flares, floor mats to towing products. Check out their great showroom at 7000 South State in Midvale. More information at jordancamper.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here is Pearl Johansson.
We've got a crash up in Ogden on Wall Avenue. It's blocking the left 2 lanes on southbound Wall Avenue. Just by 20th Street. Northbound's no issues there. But yeah, that left 2 lanes of Wall Avenue southbound blocked because of a crash. Kind of hard to see how many vehicles are involved. We do see some emergency vehicles there. Once you get on the freeway, though, north and southbound I-15 between Ogden and Provo, no major delays there. Fuel your summer adventures with Doug Smith Jeep, proudly serving American and Spanish Fork. Find deals on 2025 models during the Employee Pricing Plus sales event now through May 31st. No one knows Jeep like Doug. Pearl Johansson in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be a hot weekend with highs in the 90s, but it'll cool down Monday with some rain showers moving in. Right now, sunny and 76 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
So I'm going to read you this opinion piece title that Adam Gardner, my co-host today, spotted in the Washington Post. My fellow Republicans, the responsibility to speak out rests with you. What caught your attention about that?
Well, first of all, it was written by a man that I admire, former senator and ambassador to Turkey, Jeff Flake. And he's got a lot of Utah ties, went to BYU, serves currently as the chair of the World Trade Center Utah. And I just thought it was really important because when I worked for Senator Romney, these types of foreign affairs issues, they both served on the Committee of Foreign Relations in the Senate. You have these guardrails, and in fact, I want to let Ambassador Jeff Flake talk about this because there's something that you mentioned, Ambassador, where you said there's all these sorts of domestic guardrails. So anything you want to do domestically, we're seeing the courts rule against the Trump administration time and time again. We're also seeing them say, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can deport these people. You cannot deport these people. But on the world of foreign affairs, on the world stage, he's kind of a one-man show, and there's not a lot of checks for him. Ambassador Jeff Flake, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So what do you say to that? What types of guardrails exist on the foreign policy stage, and what is the responsibility of especially Republicans who you call out directly? What is their responsibility?
Well, there are some guardrails that exist with foreign policy. You're seeing some of them now where the courts have come in and questioned the president's use of emergency designations for some of the tariffs, for example. But the executive branch is far more in charge of foreign policy these days. Congress is a co-equal branch of government, but has ceded a lot of power to the executive. And what I'm really concerned about is that when we are seemingly an unreliable partner, whether it's in trade deals or security alliances, then our allies simply move on and say, hey, we'll deal with a world not dominated by the United States. And in my view, that's not the best world. The world is better because of our leadership, and I think that it should continue in the future. And my point here is that if Republican members of Congress, Democrats can be expected to, push back against a Republican president. But Republicans in the Senate in particular should assure our allies that the United States will be back in a leadership position, that this, what I hope is a temporary bout of isolationism or protectionism, will pass. But it's going to take some Republicans in Congress standing up and reminding our allies of that fact.
Ambassador Flake, thank you as well for joining the show. I want to make sure I let you know I really appreciate your time this morning and Adam being able to coordinate you joining us today. You write in this Washington Post opinion piece, the voices of restraint within the administration have largely fallen silent. Degrading our allies and admiring autocrats are no longer exceptions. They are part of the message. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, during the first Trump administration, and I spent part of that in the Senate, and when there was more of a team of rivals, if you will, kind of the term from the Lincoln, administration of people in the administration that would push back and would challenge the president. Every president needs to be challenged, whichever party, and it's good to have a team of rivals around him. I think that that's kind of past now. If you look at the cabinet meetings and whatnot, I don't think there's much pushback within the administration, and I think that there should be. But absent that, then it falls on Congress, a co-equal branch of government, and particularly Republicans in Congress, where they see kind of this chaotic environment on tariffs or us questioning long-held security alliances like NATO. And I think it would behoove us, Republicans in particular, to remind our allies, because our allies are watching. And believe me, I know that from being in the Senate. I know it from being an ambassador in an allied country. They pay attention to what the Congress says. They know that the president is in there for 4 years or maybe 8, but many senators are in there for decades, and that their term is a 6-year term and they outlast the administration. So they know that Congress is important. What I think is that more Republican members of Congress needs to stand up and say, hey, we will be back. America will resume its leadership role in the world.
You mentioned that if we cede leadership, that our allies will just sort of move on. So if this vacuum of leadership is created, where do our allies go?
That's the problem. It's not just our allies, but look at many countries in Africa that we don't have security alliances with or aren't really regular allies, but they're looking for trade deals. They're looking for security alliances, intelligence sharing agreements. And if the U.S. is not seen as a reliable partner, then they will choose China. And China is the country moving in mostly. I was in Geneva last week talking to a diplomat from an allied country. And he noted that, in the past, these countries, particularly our allies, on a particular issue, an important issue in some of these UN bodies in Geneva, would wait to see where the United States is. And then usually take their position accordingly. He said, now we really don't care anymore because the U.S. just isn't really showing up and is downplaying a lot of these alliances and agreements and international forums that we have led in. And when we create a vacuum by our absence, that vacuum is filled often by countries that don't share our democratic values, often in this case by China. China would love to have a world that is dominated by frameworks on trade and security that they set and not us. And I don't think that's good for the world.
We're speaking live right now to former ambassador to Turkey, Jeff Flake. He's also a former senator from Arizona, also served in the House of Representatives. He's the chair of the World Trade Center. And he wrote an opinion piece that now is posted on the Washington Post website entitled, "My Fellow Republicans, the Responsibility to Speak Out Rests with You." And I'm a little deeper into the opinion piece here. And you say, essentially, and I'm going to paraphrase here, if Republicans don't take action and stand up, it could be a dangerous gamble. The world doesn't pause for long while we wait for better leadership. So what is your concern if Republicans don't stand up to the administration?
Well, I think if Republicans don't remind our allies that, hey, this is just maybe a more temporary bout of isolationism. We've had bouts in the past and in previous decades and centuries where we've been more of an isolationist country. It hasn't served us well. But if they remind our allies, hey, we'll be back. We'll be back. Then our allies, some of them will say, hey, well, we can wait this out and we can still stay in these security arrangements, intelligence sharing agreements. But if they think that the entire Congress agrees with certain positions that the administration has taken, then they'll move on to more secure partners. Now, I'm not suggesting that every move that President Trump has made is wrong. Not at all. He's made some good moves domestically, particularly on regulatory issues and taxes, and internationally. I served as the U.S. ambassador to Turkey, and the president just traveled to the Middle East and renewed relations basically with Syria and dropped sanctions. That was the right thing to do. He made a good move there, and I don't think Republicans or Democrats ought to hesitate in commending the president when he takes moves like that. But there have been many moves lately on the economy, on tariffs that are destabilizing and chaotic, and I don't think will serve the country well in the future. And in those cases, then Congress ought to act like a co-equal branch of government and stand up.
Well said. That was Jeff Flake, former senator and ambassador to Turkey and current chair of World Trade Center Utah. Ambassador Flake, thank you so much for being on the show. That was fantastic. Please read his editorial in the Washington Post, "My Fellow Republicans, the Responsibility to Speak Out Rests with You." Next up, a recent study is revealing a significant decline in maternal mental health in the United States. We take a closer look at the details next.
If your water heater's over 10 to 15 years old, congratulations. You've beat the average. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I love hearing stories of people having water heaters that are really old and they're still doing their job. Unfortunately, most of us won't be that lucky. And when water heaters fail, it's usually in spectacularly inconvenient fashion. Whether it's an unexpected cold shower when we're already running late for work, or worse yet, coming home to a flooded basement, it's never fun. If you'd like to look into replacing your water heater before it fails, Any Hour Services is having a sale for any homeowners listening. Whether you're looking for a new tanked water heater or you want to see what upgrading to a tankless would cost, the plumbers at Any Hour Services can show you what options are available. And right now, you can save $400 on a tanked water heater or $1,200 on a tankless. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services today and schedule your free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
So I was reading this, Adam, on abcnews.com, but I feel like I've also lived this, and I know there are a lot of moms who listen. And I mean, you are a dad, but you're married, and obviously your wife is a mom of 4 boys. So I think this is really relatable, that mental health for moms is really seeing a significant decline. There's a recent study. They sampled almost 190,000 moms. Like, how are you doing? I mean, imagine asking that question to somebody. How are you doing? 25% of those moms say they have excellent mental health. Only 25%.
I can't believe how low that number is.
I know.
And, I look at my own family. I now that I'm married, and I can see it now as I look back at my mom raising the 6 of us kids. There were times when my mom would just say, I'm going to the store. Her thing was always, I'm going to the store. Mm-hmm. And we would all say, can we come? No, you can't come. And now it's funny.
This is the best. I hear her. I am her. Go ahead.
Well, now it's so funny to be married. I have 4 little boys, 11, 9, 5, and 2. And so the whole gamut right now.
That's the best
and
ages.
They're so fun, and they are also little terrorists. And when I get a call at work at 4:45 in the afternoon,
how does that go?
From my wife,
yeah.
I know that it's been a tough day, and the kids were really tough. And so she'd say, when are you coming home?
Yeah.
She never says get home now, but when are you coming home? And I take that as I'm leaving right now. I'm
I
on
love
my way.
that you lean into that.
So I know her cues. And when I get home, she says, I have to go to Target real quick. And so my kids will say, what are you getting at Target? And she'll go, I don't know. And she'll be gone for a couple of hours. And I think that's great. One thing for my wife that I've noticed is I go on business trips and get to talk to adults all day. Mm-hmm. And she can't. And she's a lot of times she's stuck at home with the kids unless they do a play date or something else. And so one thing I've started to do every year for her is to send her and a friend on a trip somewhere for 3 days, 4 days. Pick a city, and last year she went to Nashville with her friend, and they just got away for a few days and went to a concert. And I think everybody needs something like that.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't even have to be a trip for me. It could be a drive. Like, just get out and do.
Exactly.
I'm gonna walk through some of my tips and tricks that I used raising my 3. They are now all in their 20s and working full time, trying to juggle all the things. This study was published in JAMA in the Internal Medicine So it's 189,000 moms. They've been looking at this situation since 2016. So they've got some really robust data on this, and 25% report excellent mental health, which is down significantly from when they started looking at this, Adam. In 2016, it was 38%.
That's a significant drop.
That's a huge drop. So something has happened. Let's think about that in the last 9 years, let's say. Pandemic, maybe some economic woes, inflation, some pressures there. Maybe some of the moms, they start to look at these moms. Maybe there's some changing situations on the home front. Maybe there's been divorces. Now they're not single moms. 25% say they have excellent mental health. I think there were probably times I could have been sampled back in the day when I was raising my kids. My first was born in 1996, and our third child was born in 1999. And I probably would have said at some points, oh, yeah, I have excellent mental health. And then there were probably times that my kids would have to answer that question because I could literally not get out of bed because I'd hit a level of depression, actually. And not just from parenting and motherhood, but also all the other pressures of work and other things. Life doesn't stop,
And not just work, like a very demanding job. And sometimes there's a big issue on the weekend. There was something you have to cover at night.
Right. It never
To be
stopped.
very nimble like that is so hard.
I remember back when my kids were little, and I want to, and he'll correct me if I've got this wrong because he'll text me once in a while during the show. My husband was gone for several days. He was a police officer. He's a detective. I think they were out on a search. He was home, but he would be gone. They were on a search for a suspect. And it was, I don't remember, it was, somebody who was really, really, really wanted. And it was in the Valley, but he was having to, be gone out of the house. And by about day 2 or 3 or 4, I called him up. I think it was a Friday or Saturday night. And again, juggling work. Because even when I took time off of reporting for maybe a year and a half, I was still freelancing pretty significantly. So I'd go in and report. I would do voice work. I would write articles. So I was still working and also working as a mom. And I called him up and I said, it's time to come home now. It's time to come home. I know the public needs your eyes and ears on this case, but are there a number of other detectives out on this? Can you please come home? And he said, just give me a little bit. He did come home. And that was so critical to me that I was recognized. I was seen in that moment that I just hit bottom juggling the 3 kiddos. And
what did you do? So when he comes home, what did you do for a break? How did you ever get a reset?
And this was at night, so I think it probably went up and went to bed, right? Yeah. Because I also realized that pure exhaustion, and I know there are moms and dads that are far more exhausted out there than me, but the pure exhaustion that riddled my bones was also damaging my mental health. You can't think straight if you're not eating right, if you're not sleeping. So sleep was important. And even if I could get 6 or 7 good hours straight of sleep, that would help. Mine was honestly, thank you to Smith's on Bengal Boulevard, because I would go push the grocery cart alone up and down the aisles by myself, no kids allowed. And that, honestly, even though you're out shopping and doing something for your family, because you're like, oh, what am I going to make for dinner tonight and tomorrow night? It was still a break from being in the mix of battle on the home front.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did when I was with the kids so much is I would take them on long drives. So one of my go-tos was buckle up. Remember maybe they still have them, the little free ice cream cones at Arctic Circle?
Yeah.
Do they still have the free sample cones that are just perfectly kid-sized?
Yeah, they are awesome. We take advantage of those.
Totally. I love that they do that. And that was like a gift to my kids. And I'd say, buckle up. Mama's taking you on a long drive. Because I had 3 under the age of 3.5 at one point.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot on all of us. It was a lot on my body. It was a lot on on juggling the 3 kids. all the time, who were always just gung-ho to be doing something. So, yeah, we would, and then I would find that I could put the music on. They'd fall asleep for their hour-and-a-half long nap. And so for the price of gas money and 3 free kitty cones at Arctic Circle, I would just kind of reset my mental health. So we've talked a lot, hopefully, about solutions, but I think the biggest thing here is to be seen as a mom. Like, I need help, I need help. And to have you recognize that your wife needs you home in the moment is just such a critical step.
Well, and I recognize it now. I didn't earlier. She helped me recognize it pretty fast. And so I'm grateful. I think it's taking care of your kids is important, but taking care of yourself and your own mental health is maybe just as important or more important. Take care of yourself first.
Straight ahead, Governor Spencer Cox creating a new council in search of a brighter future for Utah. So once you get your thinking caps on over the next several minutes, in your mind, what would make Utah brighter down the road? We're going to take your live calls in the 10 o'clock hour.
It's time for the KSL Give-a-thon.
We need your help raising money for sick Utah kids receiving treatment at Primary Children's Hospital.
Go to kslkids.com and donate today.
Be a smile maker. An automatic gift each month helps save the lives of children all year long.
Sponsored by J&J Garden Center in Layton.
A big thanks to other generous sponsors, including the Utah Hyundai dealers, for their amazing support of the kids at Primary Children's.
The KSL Give-a-thon. We can't do it without you. Please give today at kslkids.com.
Are you looking to invest in your home, increase its livability, increase its value, increase its curb appeal? Well, doors and windows are a great place to start, and there's no better place to start than Peach Doors and Windows.
Maybe the purpose of your home has changed. Maybe you're an empty nester, or you just want to maximize the view of your home. Bring Peach your wish list. Think about out-of-the-box shapes and sizes. What you can imagine, Peach Doors and Windows can make happen. They can do renovations that other companies simply won't touch.
You can check out all of their 5-star reviews on Google, where customers rate Peach throughout every step of the process. From sales to installation, they will make sure you get exactly what you want. Check out their website at peachbuildingproducts.com. You can give them a call, 801-566-1255. They do free in-home estimates.
Or better yet, check them out in person, 2940 South, 300 West in Salt Lake City. They're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, or check them out online, peachbuildingproducts.com.
Pantheon Clinical Research is conducting a clinical study for children and teens. Is your child struggling with bipolar depression? If your child is between 10 and 17 years old and experiencing symptoms of depression associated with bipolar disorder, such as persistent sadness, loss of interest in activities, trouble sleeping, low energy, difficulty concentrating, or even suicidal thoughts, Pantheon Clinical Research may be able to help. We are ready to take your call anytime. Call our phone lines at Pantheon Clinical Research at 385-281-0550. That's 385-281-0550. We're conducting a no-cost clinical study for children and teens facing bipolar depression. Participants will receive study-related care, medical tests, and investigational treatment from a dedicated medical team, all at no cost and with no health insurance required. Call Pantheon Clinical Research today at 385-281-0550. That's 385-281-0550, or visit our website at pantheonclinical.com to learn more. Hope starts here.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com. Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared.
Prevent your child's next asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many. Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, the sudden hot snap this weekend is not helping Utah's drought situation. Utah Division of Water Resources Drought Coordinator Laura Haskell says nearly 50% of the state is already experiencing drought conditions. But there is some good news.
The amount of water that we're using is going down a little bit per person.
She says we all need to be vigilant and only water your lawn when needed. She also suggests using water-efficient appliances. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spoke at a Home Depot in Palm Beach County this morning, urging people to prepare for tropical storms this summer.
We had 10 years where we didn't get one, and then now we've had 6 majors in 7 years, including 3 hurricanes, 2 major hurricanes last year in 2024, and then a third, Hurricane Debbie.
The governor is also vowing to do more to work with power companies in advance of major storms so that power can be restored as quickly as possible after severe weather. 3 BYU students are using an empty wall on the side of a mall to bring back the drive-in theater experience. The trio's business is called Cozy Films, and they show screenings every weekend on the south side of Provost Town Center Mall. The Salt Lake Tribune reports they sell out most nights. The last drive-in theater along the Wasatch Front closed last year. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 72 points. Now we're at 42,142. Coming up, it's going to be downright hot this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hey folks, it's Jay Broadbent here with Alpine Home Medical, celebrating 28 years of keeping Utah and Idaho comfortable and at home. Back in '97, I started with a truck, a dream, and a lot more hair. Today, we've got 11 stores from Idaho Falls to St. George. From the moment you step into our clean, welcoming showrooms, you'll feel the Alpine difference. Our team will be there to listen and guide you to the best solutions for your needs. We believe that the right equipment can transform lives. We're honored to be a part of your healthcare journey and to help you live the life you deserve. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, our show live today from Advanced Window Products. And we're joined now by Jake. Jake, you guys have taken care of Steve and I when we finally decided to change our windows, and Steve's still in the process. He still has to wait another week or two before his windows go in.
We have stuff we need to prove with Steve still.
You do. This is going to be
still out.
The Mission Impossible.
Yeah. The verdict's
He's had a
still
good
out.
experience so far. I had a good experience all the way through.
That's our expectation, and that's what we do. We make sure that customers homeowners have a good experience all the way through. So Steve is kind of in that process at the beginning after deciding to pull the trigger.
Yeah, he waited a long
go.
time. I had to finally say, come on, Steve, what are you waiting for?
Man, I was throwing money out like I was. Anyway.
But yeah, so that experience from the sale up until the measurement, because everything that we do is custom. And so Steve just had Matt, one of our measure specialists, come out, and he was able to measure every opening. And now we have those measurements, and those windows are being manufactured right now as we speak. So they will be installed here in the coming weeks. And the great thing that you have when you go with Advanced Windows is not only is it a locally manufactured window, everything is custom, but you have a true lifetime warranty. So if anything ever comes up, Steve, we're sitting here together right now, across from the table from me. But if there's warranty issues, you can call me. You can call us. We're able to get that taken care of for the rest of your life. There's no questions asked. We come in and we'll take care of any of those issues.
Jake, one of the cool things has been with this temperature spike this last week.
Yeah.
My house has stayed the same temperature inside. It's
Look at that
so
smile.
nice.
Look at that
It is
smile.
so
and it might
nice.
be
You have
90
no
degrees.
idea. I'm telling you that the difference, the amount of energy we lost out our windows, I didn't know what I didn't know until I got my windows replaced. And you guys worked with me on the financing. I got 60 months, no interest. And so when I got the rebates, I can apply the rebate now, or I can actually just get some interest on that rebate and apply it later because I don't have to put it in right this second.
Yeah, that's exactly
It's just
right.
great. You guys, the whole process was just great.
Well, that's what we love to hear.
So what we want you to do is to take advantage of a deal that Jake's throwing out today.
Today
for
only.
movie show listeners, if you call 801-850-9100, and you got to call today and make your appointment,
That's right.
How much will they get off of 10 windows or more, Jake?
We're going to give you $3,000 off the purchase of 10 or more windows.
Okay, you got to take advantage of this deal. 801-850-9100.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here is Earl Johansson.
UHP did a slowdown northbound I-15 before the 600 South exit. Now all lanes of traffic are open again, but we do have delays stretching all the way back to the Spaghetti Bowl. We also have a stalled vehicle on northbound I-215 just before 700 North. That doesn't seem to be causing any major delays at the moment. The future is here. Don't have internet stuck in the past. Quantum Fiber Internet offers next-level speed on a reliable fiber network. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Service in select locations only. Burl Johansson in the KSL Traffic Center.
We should get up to 91 today, 92 tomorrow, 94 Sunday before rain comes in on Monday and cooler temperatures. Right now it's 76 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, we have another acronym in state government that we're going to talk about right now. The acronym is BUILD, B-U-I-L-D, and Governor Spencer Cox, Adam, creating it's called a new coordinating council. And what this is like building a path to a brighter Utah, a brighter future for Utah. And I think a lot of people want to know or have opinions, I will say, about what would create a brighter Utah for them. So in a few minutes, we're going to take live calls at 801-575-TALK. Like, what's that one thing that you want to see the state get together on and fix or do? So you feel like there's a brighter hope for the future for your family. Adam Gardner, former host of Inside Sources in the afternoon, also a political analyst and a lobbyist here in the state of Utah. What would make for a brighter future for you and your family?
Well, I think he kind of hit the nail on the head on this one. Growth really is kind of tangential to everything we do in the state. You talk about sitting in traffic,
yes,
getting home after a long work day or getting to work. What happens if there is I was going to Salt Lake last night and there was an accident on Mountain View corridor, so no traffic on Mountain View at all, and diverting. They shut the entire road down. So it's like, where do you go from here? How do we manage growth and make sure that as we have to build 35,000 new homes, that there is enough water and traffic management and public safety? How do we manage that growth? Because I think a lot of people are really scared. We talked in a couple segments ago about the NIMBYism. You mentioned that, not in my backyard.
We're talking about home building in Utah, and they're having a hard time, I would say a hard time, getting this first-time home buyer program really rooted, because there's 5,000 first-time homes that have been built under the governor's other initiative for first-time homes, and his goal is 35,000. So we're talking about
that's a
NIMBYism.
big goal.
Yeah.
And how do you incentivize developers to build these homes, these first-time homes, when they can make more by building a mansion?
Get residents in the area on board, so they're not at city council meetings.
How do you message that? And I think that the governor has taken an important step here, creating the Build Coordinating Council. Now, this is going to be led. It's a long-term planning in the state, so it should outlast Governor Cox when he's done someone else is going to have to pick up the torch on this and coordinate for years to come. But it's going to be led by Laura Hansen, who is the state planning coordinator and senior advisor to the governor. She is super smart, extremely capable, and I'm in awe every time I hear her talk about planning because it's just way over my head and it's things I haven't thought about. So I think they're in capable hands with her leading it, but it's going to have a bunch of different folks from all facets of state and local governments involved to figure out, how do we do this better?
BUILD stands for Blueprint for Utah's Infrastructure, Land, and Development. There will not be a quiz on that later, but just in general, so you understand, BUILD stands for Blueprint for Utah's Infrastructure, Land, and Development. And to your point, Department of Public Safety will be involved, Department of Transportation, Department of Environmental Quality, like Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce, Utah Association of Counties, and I also understand that they're going to have these meetings that are open to the public. I'll be curious to see how many residents show up and voice their.
Is this something you would show up to?
Well, as I'm thinking about like retirement, which happens as of next Friday, I wonder if I would be. One of my big concerns, if I did show up to one of these meetings, is I need an east-west route.
Yeah. How do you get off I-15 and get to your house?
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. I get off at like 106 South, and sometimes like maybe my better bet is 114 South, and then I head west. And then yesterday I left Broadcast House at about 4:15, which is kind of late for me, but I got stuck in traffic, and I took maps told me to take all of these back roads. So I don't know. I ended up by
Isn't it crazy? I
ended up by your house. I
you
was
have
on
to use
32nd
maps.
West. Yes.
And you know where you're going. You know how to get home. And we still have to use maps because the route could change daily.
I-215 really worked well in the 90s. And I keep thinking we needed an I-315 and an I-415. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I understand. But I think we have to lean into the fact that growth is going to continue happening. We need I'd like to spend less time in traffic. I'd like to spend less than I think it said it was going to take me an hour to get home to South Jordan last night.
That's crazy.
In what Utah world am I living that the map says I have 4.5 more miles to go and that I will be there in 26 more minutes? It's Utah, The other thing I would say is I think, and in a moment we're going to speak with Steve Waltrip, who is kind of the senior advisor for housing for the governor, because I know there's a lot on people's minds for a bright Utah. If they could get into a home, they want to get into a home. There just aren't the affordable homes to live in. But I want to talk about, before we get there, Adam, if you'll just indulge me for a moment, I want to talk about, I don't know what the governor's intention is with the Department of Public Safety being on this new council, but I would say that crime and growing crime is a big factor in the lives of Utah families, and I see this posted quite frequently. I'm reminded of this when I see in our community Facebook page out in Daybreak, which has thousands and thousands of people on this page. They're posting regularly about like, hey, somebody broke into my car overnight. My car's stolen. There's somebody that's knocking on doors. He seems suspicious. That kind of thing. And I think those are the kinds of things that are also going to be important for our future for addressing those issues for quality of life. They seem small, but for some people, that's like it makes them feel unsafe. And I think we bring more residents to the state. We want residents to continue to feel like we felt in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, safe, and you're taken care of, and we're paying attention.
Responsive.
And you found some great comments on the KSL.com article. A lot of these, it's social media, so a lot of them are, we hate this and we hate this, but you found some real gems.
So, right. And in a moment, we're going to take live calls, 801-575-TALK. What's your bright future in Utah look like? Like, what's that one thing you want the state to focus on that will make your family happier, make it feel like it's a brighter place to live? 801-575-TALK. Let me bounce this one off you. Does that future include good-paying jobs and affordable housing? There's the housing component again, but what about the affordable jobs, Adam?
Yeah, it's one of the comments on KSL kind of asks that question and says, even if we have housing, are there jobs available? And I think that the state has kind of done it in the past in reverse. We've focused so much on getting companies from all over the country and the world to move here to Utah. And so we've got the high-paying jobs and then nowhere for them to live. And so we're trying to reverse that trend and keep those jobs that we have here without them leaving, but also get them more housing. It's a hard trend to figure out. And what are the right levers to pull to make sure we do the right things?
Yeah, we grabbed this story off of KSL.com, and it's talking about the governor's newer task force called BUILD, Blueprint for Utah's Infrastructure, Land, and Development. And he wants to know what it's going to take to make Utah, brighter in the future. This commenter on that article, I pulled this comment. This person said he should start with 3 lanes or more out of Salt Lake City going west on I-80. So you want 3 lanes to get into Tooele County, it sounds like.
Yeah, and 3 lanes to St. George. Because even going to St. George used to not be a big thing, and now it's there's a lot of traffic, especially if you're coming home from St. George on a weekend or.
Well, and Tooele County can offer more affordable housing too.
Right.
Right. So that might open up a window for more people to live out there.
And how do we get them water out there?
Get them water. Yeah. And then this commenter said, I'll take a positive slant on this. I'm a lifetime resident of Utah and have witnessed all the change. Change is the only constant, whether for good or worse, and population will continue to grow. And I think we have to lean into that. We've seen that, one of the fastest growing states in the nation. And people want to move here. They want to move here.
What about public transit? Is that the next
I've had a
solution?
hard time with that. That's a great question. I've had a hard time with that because of the time it takes, even though it can sit in traffic for quite some time and be frustrated.
Sure.
It takes me an hour, sometimes longer, to take tracks from South Jordan to downtown Salt Lake City. Maybe there needs to be more public transit and more options.
And it seems like people are riding it more. UTA reports it's 20% growth year over year on public transit, which is huge. They moved 11 times the population of the state of Utah on buses and trains and tracks.
Didn't know that.
And so the more they continue to grow, the more, and especially the younger generation than me, 18 to 35, they're using public transportation and they want those types of options. And it seems to me like if we have this council, that the state will want to invest and make it grow, make it quicker from South Jordan to downtown.
Steve Waldrop, who's the senior advisor for housing up at the governor's office. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
We've been talking pretty heavily this morning about first-time home buyers and the governor's, pitch to get more first-time home options built across the state. I would imagine that this does play heavily into a brighter future, if you will, for a lot of Utah families, because if they can't afford their first-time home, then they're going to be maybe forever renters. It might appeal to some, but not all.
Yeah, absolutely right. We've got the American dream that has always been a thing for us. And I was talking with one of our mayors just this morning about how when we were growing up, we were in high school and we would think, oh yeah, well, I guess at some point I'll get married, I'll get a job, I'll have a family, and I'll buy a house. And that was just the thing that you expected. That was part of the deal that we kind of make in our society. And now if you talk to high school kids, I talked to a few of our interns today, and 2/3 of them are saying, yeah, I don't think I'll ever buy a home. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford to buy a home. Yeah, and it's, that's a small sample, but I think if you go, as I have, to college campuses and talk to college kids and talk to high school kids, they know about this issue. And there's a sense of betrayal in those generations about, well, I can't do it here. I have to go to Tennessee or Ohio or Texas or somewhere else where I can create what I have always thought that I, was going to be promised.
Okay, this is going to sound maybe out of left field, but I've seen a lot of comments We're talking about the new build commission, the council that's going to be put together, which I think is a great idea. Last session, one of the more controversial bills was that came out at the end of the session was this Beehive Development Agency. And it got a lot of pushback. The bill died. They said they were going to hold on to it and maybe work through some of those issues during the interim. This is not related to that at all, is it?
No, it's completely different. So this build commission is just taking existing state departments, so executive level departments and kind of executive level adjacent participants, Utah Foundation, and making sure that each department is communicating with the other departments so that we're not doing a right hand, left hand thing where the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Somebody's building a road and we needed a water line in that road, and the road just got built and now it's next year and we got to tear up this brand new road to put a water line in. That's happening all over the state. And so really this is just a measure to increase the efficiency of the services that government is already providing. And we're already in all of these things, doing all of this work, and we'll be better at it if people are talking to one another. And so, I talked to the governor yesterday, and in the press conference, I think he said the same thing. I wanted to do this as an executive order so my team knew how important it was that we coordinate better as a team. And so this isn't creating any new powers. This isn't creating any new commissions. This is just making sure that the people who are doing the work already are taking seriously the obligation to be more efficient, more in touch with other departments that may have, that may be touching some of the things that they're doing.
We're talking live right now with the governor's senior advisor for housing, Steve Waldrop. He's on the line with us. And before we let you go, I want to get your perspective on this. I'm looking at these numbers in terms of new housing builds under, is it called the Family First, Utah Family First plan? And maybe I'm getting that one wrong, but to build these starter homes for families, Steve. And it looks like as of right now, there are 5,100 new starter homes that have been built since the governor initiated this push back in late 2023. His goal is to get to 35,000 new starter homes by 2028. In my view, it feels like we're behind as a state getting to that goal. What's your view?
Absolutely. So that number is the number of units that were delivered to market and sold in 2024. So the initiative started, January 1st of 2024, and that was the 5-year goal was 35,000. So that requires us to build 7,500 a year in order to hit that goal. And so last year, first year, we got 5,000. That's not terrible. That gives me some hope that as we, push the market, as we push developers, as we push cities to produce more mixed income and mixed value communities. So it's not all, we don't really want all starter homes in a block, and we don't really want all big homes. The best communities are where we have a mix of starter homes and move-up homes and final homes, and you have all of those blended together, and you create, opportunities for people to grow where they are. That's really what we're pushing. So the fact that we did 5,100 in the first year with kind of no on-ramp is really encouraging. But, since then, now we've got these headwinds with, construction cost increases and labor cost increases and, the potential of tariffs hitting home builders and interest rate concerns. I mean, this is a aspirational big reach goal to get to 35,000. I'm encouraged that we did as well as we did as a state. And, but we've got a long ways to go. I mean, we're looking at needing 10,000 this year, double what we did last year, just to keep pace. And that's really, really challenging, but we're working on it.
Okay, I have about 30 seconds left. I want to know, how is this coordinating council going to function?
It's really just going to be a group that gets together. The first meeting, I think, is July 22nd. There's nothing secretive about it. I think, we were just talking about it this morning, like, yeah, people want to come and listen. That's great. more involvement, the better. But it really is just to have transportation, talking to housing, talking to corrections, talking to human services, talking to welfare, just making sure that people know what other people are doing. So if there are areas where we can cooperate, where we can coordinate better and leverage the things that we're doing to make government more efficient, this is a great thing, and wonderful. And everybody ought to be excited that we're actually going to do the things that we would hope we were doing all the time, and we're just going to do it better.
That was Steve Waldrop. Thanks so much, Steve, for being on the show. The governor's senior advisor for housing, Steve Waldrop, on to talk about the new Build Coordinating Council. Excited to see where that goes. Next up on KSL, we are gearing up for the KSL Give-a-thon, an annual event that works to raise funds for Primary Children's Hospital. And straight ahead, we are joined live by 10-year-old Kendallin and her mom, Carissa, to learn more about Kendallin's story and support from Primary Children's Hospital. Stay with us.
I want the news stories to really capture the environment that the story took place in.
Midday, all new from noon to 3.
I really want to take you to that spot where the community is really making an improvement in their neighborhood through a cleanup project, where the Cross Guard is helping those children cross the street.
Midday.
Those are the stories that really have an impact on you.
Midday with Maria Chaleos. Listen between noon and 3 on KSL News Radio.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Did you know 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income? And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Don't lose $111,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits on Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we are live at Advanced Window Products for the movie show today, which starts in about 30 minutes. But we're joined by Jake right now because, Jake, you blew us away right at the end of our last time talking with you. You just said people can get $3,000 off 10 windows or more if they call today during the movie show.
Yeah, it's a special day. You guys are here with us. You've purchased windows from us. You've had them installed. Steve, you have purchased windows. You're waiting for them to get installed.
Yep.
And you're here in the building. You're here. You can walk in the back. You can see the shop. With you guys being here in person, we said, hey, let's bump that up. We'll say $3,000 off the purchase of 10 or more windows. And all you have to do to unlock those savings is call today. You call, get on the schedule. Todd is going to be the one answering the phone, and he'll come out to your house in the next day or two, and he can just give you a free estimate, free audit of your current windows and help you understand how we can help transform your home.
I was going to say, this isn't like if you're trying to decide between buying Doritos or Cheetos, right? This is not something where, I didn't even think about buying Doritos till today, till I saw them on the show. This is something you put the thought process into. One of the things I like about you guys at Advanced Windows is you don't have to do a hard sell. Because the product sells itself, the warranty sells itself, and we can just tell you what the actual process is so easy and so quick. You make this appointment, they'll come out. It was less than an hour for you guys to take a look at 20 windows, give me the estimate, and we had everything all set up. It was like an hour. I couldn't believe that it was that quick.
It's easy.
And he also says you don't have to do this today if you don't want to. But if you want to take advantage of this pricing, you've got to call and make the appointment
today. You just
today.
got to call today, and it'll unlock those savings.
Here's the deal. We are putting our money where our mouths are.
Yeah.
We trust you, and we like what you do. So that's why we both are investing.
And so this is the number to call to make that appointment, 801-850-9100. Again, this is a deal only today during the movie show to get $3,000 off 10 windows or more. By the way, my brother did it. He's actually doing a big remodel on his house. He loves it too.
Love hearing it. Love hearing it. Call today.
A full warranty. You guys have been in business, 40 years now almost?
We're in our 40th year. 39 years. We're in our 40th year.
You can't stay in business that long without doing something right.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So 801-850-9100 to take advantage of $3,000 off 10 windows or more from Advanced Window Products.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top local story, BYU's brand new athletic director is sharing his thoughts for the first time on the civil lawsuit accusing quarterback Jake Retzloff of sexual assault.
KSL's BYU insider Mitch Harper spoke with BYU's brand new athletic director Brian Santiago at the Big 12 spring meetings in Florida about the case. Santiago says it's a tough situation.
We want to respect the privacy of Jake. We want to respect the privacy of the university. We want to respect the privacy of those involved. As the matter gets worked out, and have full confidence that the right thing will happen moving forward.
Santiago says the university found out about the allegations at the same time everyone else did. Virl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the FBI is offering a new reward in the expanding manhunt for a convicted murderer who is also a former Arkansas police chief.
There's a growing sense of urgency to try to get the former police chief back behind bars as quickly as possible. In fact, we saw a school bus yesterday being stopped at a checkpoint as authorities continue looking for the fugitive they say is armed and dangerous.
ABC's Faith Abube says there is a $10,000 reward on the table for information leading to the arrest of Grant Hardin. Your money at this moment, the Dow is headed down in the last half hour. We're down 248 now. That's 0.6%. We're at 41,967. Coming up, we could see a record high this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. And here is Virl Johansson.
We've got some slowdowns at northbound I-15 it starts at 106 South and it goes all the way almost to the 90 South exit. It's because we've got a trailer that's disconnected from its vehicle. Not sure how it happened. We've got officials on the scene. Both shoulders, the right and left, are blocked at the moment as they work on it. We also have a crash eastbound in Provo Canyon, Highway 189. It's blocking the right lane and the right shoulder, slowing things down on the left-hand side. Virl Johansson in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're going to end the month of May on a hot note. 91 today, 92 tomorrow, 94 Sunday. It cools down with a good chance of rain on Monday. Right now, sunshine and 77 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I am so
it's
excited.
The KSL Give-a-thon. Be a smile maker for the kids at Primary Children's Hospital.
For that, it is Give-a-thon time. Give-a-thon airs all Wednesday, next Wednesday, all day long right here on KSL News Radio. And before we talk to Kendallin and Carissa, her mom, I want to remind you, you can donate now. You don't have to wait till Wednesday, but you can Donate now by visiting kslkids.com, or better yet, how about this? Text the word SMILE to 57500, and we'll hook you up to be a Smile Maker, where you can give all year long to the kids at Primary Children's Hospital. And so grateful to J&J Garden Center for being a Smile Maker sponsor. Carissa, Kendallin, are you guys there?
We are.
Hi. Oh, Kendallin, you sound so excited.
I am.
Oh, okay. Tell our listeners how old you are.
I am 10 years old.
And what I know about you is that you are very happy, you're charming,
Yeah.
and you have a tender heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad to talk to you and your mom. Hi, Carissa.
Hi.
So tell us about... Oh, we're so happy to have you on. So tell us about Kendallin and the role that Primary Children's Hospital has played in her life and your life.
Yeah. So Kendallin was born early, and initially she wasn't eating any food, and the doctors just really thought it was a preemie thing. And as time went on, we quickly learned her diagnosis is not due to being a preemie. She has what's called pseudoobstruction, which has caused complete intestinal failure. So her stomach and intestines don't work very well at all. So she gets all of her nutrition through a central line in her chest. And Primary Children's is so tender to our family's heart. If it weren't for them, she wouldn't be alive today. They go above and beyond to do things for her that make her life less like a sick child. She's able to do dance therapy and art therapy, and they have child life specialists at their hospital that really help bring a smile to her face, even when things are looking not great. They go above and beyond to bring our family in to all of her health decisions and really make a huge impact in our life. We can never show enough gratitude for primaries.
Well, I'm so grateful that you're here with me today, and we can talk about the wonderful success stories at Primary Children's Hospital. Kendallin, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, one of the best things, what stands out in your mind the most about your experience at Primary Children's Hospital?
Probably the art therapy.
Oh, what's that all about? What do you do in art therapy?
It's where people bring you crafts and you make the crafts. You play with the crafts. You have to discover how it's made.
Oh, that sounds like fun. What's the best thing you've made, do you think?
Probably shaving cream art.
What was that again, Kendallin? Tell me one more time.
Probably shaving cream art.
Shaving cream art? I don't even know anything about this. This sounds marvelous. What did you make with that?
So you get shaving cream and you put different food colorings in, and then you put it down on a piece of paper and you pull it off, and it makes really pretty art.
This is amazing. Carissa, does she make really pretty art with shaving cream? Because now I'm going to have to go buy some shaving cream and try this.
She sure does. She does amazing things at the hospital. Every time we're there, they come up with some different kind of craft for her to do. She gets to do different things every single time she comes because of the donations that are provided through the hospital.
Well, you guys are awesome. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. That's Carissa and Kendallin. Kendallin reminding us how important Primary Children's Hospital is and has been for many, many years to the children across our community and beyond, even outside the state. So we're all looking forward to raising money over the next several weeks and all year long to help the kids at Primary Children's Hospital. How can you do that now? You can visit kslkids.com, or you can text the word SMILE to 57500. We'll connect you with the link that you need to become a Smile Maker. And once again, thanks as always to J&J Garden Center for being our Smile Maker sponsor. And remember to tune in right here at KSL News Radio next Wednesday. Our team will be raising money for Primary Children's Hospital at our annual Give-a-thon event.
The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
Gardner's been in studio with me all morning long, and he just told me he's a huge fan of the movies, and he went to Lilo and Stitch with your kids last week.
That was our latest. Last week, we saw the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie. I had not seen the cartoon, but I was pleasantly surprised with our kids. We all enjoyed it.
So you probably a big fan of the movie show as well, and as luck would have it, Steve and Andy on standby. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Adam. How does it feel to be one of like 180 million people who went and saw that movie last week?
It's nice to be a part of a club for once.
That's a good club.
Yeah, was the movie theater packed when you were there?
It was packed. Tons of kids, and they were actually like pretty well behaved.
Nice.
Not like when I went and saw the Minecraft movie with my kids. It was a lot more enjoyable.
So
this thing has already made over $400 million.
That's incredible. What's this week's big movie? Because Adam wants to know. Kids are looking forward to it.
Well, it's funny because the screening for the big movie of the week this week, Karate Kid Legends, was on Tuesday, which was the first Tuesday after those two big movies came out last Friday. So all the people who wanted to save it for $5, it was so jam-packed. But we were thankfully in a theater that was a little less crowded. Karate Kid Legends. Now, do we want to play a little clip from it? Nope.
You study karate or something?
Kung Fu. Used to. Don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah, you're clearly over it.
Who's your friend?
Connor, don't start. You can't step to guys like him. He wins the 5 boroughs every year.
I want Lee to learn Miyagi karate.
I'm sorry, Mr. Han. I wish I could help you.
You will.
I'm not coming to New York.
I will see you in the Big Apple.
Okay, if you've seen a Karate Kid movie, any of the Karate Kid movies, this follows the formula. It hits all the beats. You got a kid moves to a new town. He meets a girl. He gets bullied. He then gets trained by a mentor to learn martial arts or learn it better. Then fights the bully at the end, and the Karate Kid Legends does exactly those things.
Yes.
But and it brings back Jackie Chan from the last one with
Jaden
Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I recognize that voice, the other voice, that's Ralph Macchio.
Correct, and that's what this was. The big hook was they're bringing the two worlds together finally. Now, if you're going because you really want to see a lot of Ralph Macchio in the role of Daniel LaRusso again, you're not going to see. This is far more of a sequel to the 2010 Karate Kid movie than it is a sequel to the Karate Kid trilogy.
What if I want to
80s.
see that Johnny Lawrence guy?
You may have to wait through the credits, but who knows what could happen.
Oh, I had a really big crush on Ralph Macchio when I was growing up. I was just looking it up.
Did that start with The Outsiders, Deb, or was it Karate Kid where you first discovered him?
I mean, I don't remember. It was probably Tiger Beat magazine, honestly. But I was just looking. I thought before I say that out loud on the radio, I better make sure that he's like around my age, right? Because I don't want to come across as like, oh, okay. Like,
actually, I think he's quite a bit older than that. He is now. By the way, he's now
not that
older.
much older than me.
He is now older than Mr. Miyagi was in the original Karate Kid.
Oh my
I think he's 62 right now.
Yeah, he was born in 61. I was born in 67, so that does make him older than me. So I feel comfortable saying that out loud on KSL News Radio. Yeah, I did have a crush on him. Well, that's fun. So, but he doesn't make that big of an appearance in this movie.
No, I mean he maximizes the time when he's on screen. But he's just not in it. Like, it's not Daniel LaRusso and Jackie Chan the whole movie. It actually follows Ben Wang, the actor who plays Li Fong, a kid who moves from China to New York. So that's the kid who's the fish out of water and who has to learn to fight the bully Connor, who's like this master martial artist. And
the kid's pretty good.
Yeah, and so like I said, it follows the storyline. But you know, if you got kids, I mean, the Karate Kid, original Karate Kid's 41 years old. Like the movie's 41 years old. So you got a whole generation of kids who don't hold it in the same high esteem that I hold it in.
Yeah.
And I think it's enjoyable as far as that goes. And boy, Steve, they keep it tight. 90 minutes. This movie's over.
I can't believe it. I mean, that's a miracle to me to see a 90-minute movie nowadays. But no, I thought that they did a nice job with the reverence for the old stuff, and to give you a sort of a taste of the traditions that have come along.
Nice.
And then the kid is such he's a great athlete. So the karate stuff that you will see, the kung fu you will see, is pretty cool.
Well, I can't wait. I'm going to go see Karate Kid Legends with my kids.
Nice.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us, previewing your show. Next up.
Oh, Adam, can I just real quick?
Yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Okay, you guys, I know we didn't have time for the question of the week on our show today, but I'm going to give it to your listeners because you guys are coming up at 11 o'clock today so they can be thinking about it. Name a scene in a movie that gives you goosebumps every time you watch it. Name a scene in the movie that gives you goosebumps every time you watch it. And I'm going to cheat, okay? I'm going to give you my answer real quick, Adam. You had me at hello.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Jerry
Mine's Get Off
Maguire.
My Plane.
What is it?
Get Off My Plane. Harrison Ford and Air Force One.
I love it. It just gives
Two
you,
different directions.
and that gives you goosebumps.
I love it.
Okay, all right.
That's how I want my president.
Go ahead. You were going to say.
So next up on KSL, online thieves are targeting benefits meant for low-income families.
TANF is our only hope, and it got taken from us. I can't go another month having my benefits stolen.
KSL 5 TV's Daniel Woodruff joins us with more next.
Change is always happening. Hey, it's a part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that'll stay the same: the price of your internet. Xfinity introduces the 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you've got a honey-do list with electrical, plumbing, heating, or air conditioning projects on it, Any Hour Services can help. Call Any Hour Services. Electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. AnyHourServices.com.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know, even if you are not on some sort of government assistance program like food stamps or this program we're going to talk about in just a moment, which offers temporary assistance to needy families, you should care. I think you should care about this. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're a taxpayer. And what is happening when these families who are receiving these benefits go to get their funds, offline, they've vanished. And the question is, what in the world is going on around with that? Does that leave the families high and dry in terms of being able to buy food or pay for rent because this money has vanished? And who in the world is out there stealing this money?
Temporary assistance for needy families. When you were talking about, just as a taxpayer, you should care about this. It doesn't matter if you care about the programs. This is temporary assistance for the most vulnerable of our population. We're talking women and children, trying to help them get by. And it seems to me that among our most vulnerable, their benefits are just being snatched right from under them.
KSL 5 Television's Daniel Woodruff has been looking into this. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, jumping in the studio. So walk us through what is going on. And this really isn't the first time we've heard about this happening to Utah families.
Yeah, I want to start from the beginning, which is really that we've been reporting now for several months that hundreds of Utahns every month have been victims of food stamp theft. So they go to buy food stamps with a benefit card and they find out all of their funds are gone. And these are being stolen by online hackers. Who knows where they are, but they're very smart and they're very quick. the state came up with a workaround so that people could lock those benefit cards so that when they're at the grocery store, they could open up their phone, unlock it, make the purchase, and lock it again. That's a temporary fix while the federal government comes up with something more permanent. Then I heard from somebody who reached out and was very distraught and said, I am the recipient of not only food stamps, and her food stamps were stolen in March, but she said this month in May, she receives temporary assistance for needy families. I'm going to call it TANF, T-A-N-F. And that's for families who are very low income, helps them pay rent, utilities, other things that they need. She gets $945, and she said May 1st, she went to go withdraw that from the bank. All of it was gone. The same problem. Online hackers stealing these benefits just like they do food stamps, and you cannot get it back.
Is this a state app or a federal app?
This is a federal program. TANF is a federal program, but it is administered by the state of Utah.
So do they create the website or the portal that the recipient goes into to get their funds?
Yeah, they administer it through this portal that they go in and manage their account.
And it was just gone. And you're saying for TANF recipients, how many do we know of so far that have had those benefits taken?
Well, so there are about 3,000 households in Utah that receive TANF, so it's not a huge number. But again, you mentioned these are the most vulnerable of our population, and we reached out to the Department of Workforce Services, which said they have received some reports of these benefits being stolen, not on a widespread scale. It's not as widespread as food stamps, but I spoke to this woman. We did an interview with her earlier this week, equally devastating. And for her, again, she had the double whammy. Food stamps stolen in March, TANF funds stolen in May.
I saw your story that aired on KSL5 TV just a couple of days ago, and my heart, it just ached for her.
I went in to take the money out, and my card declined. I checked my balance, and it was wiped out. A lot of my bills have just went past due. I'm behind on my car payment. TANF is our only hope, and it got taken from us. I can't go another month having my benefits stolen.
Is she going to be reimbursed for the money that's just vanished?
No, you cannot get it back. That's the really unfortunate part. When we've covered this issue of food stamp theft and TANF theft, the money is gone. They cannot retrieve it again. And that's why the state came up with this workaround for food stamps that they were hopeful would help, and it has been working to try to keep this money in the right hands. TANF is a little harder because it is a cash benefit. So she goes and gets cash from the bank. It's not like you go buy food stamps with the benefit card. The state told me the only recourse these people have to try to keep it from being stolen is that they're advising them to leave no balance on there at all. So make sure you withdraw every penny. Don't leave even a cent in the account.
From TANF.
From TANF. And then lock the account, which they can do, and then only unlock the account when they are at the bank ready to withdraw. So let's say the money comes in on the 1st of the month. They get there on the 3rd. The money is still not in there because their account's locked. When they unlock it, it'll populate the funds, and then they can grab it. But it almost feels like this very sinister, almost like video game, right? You have to reach in and grab the money before somebody grabs it from you. And that's really what they're dealing with right now.
No suspects, or behind the scenes working on it, and they're just not able to say anything about it?
You can file a police report, and that's what a lot of these people do, but I've heard of nobody who's gotten back their funds.
If it's a hacker in Malaysia,
it could be anywhere in the world.
Seeing this.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be in Panguitch, and we'd have no idea if you're hacking into these systems. So are they withdrawing? So let me see if I get this right. There's some sort of TANF portal, and they have to transfer it to their bank, or does it go right into
So
the
again,
bank
it's the same. It's administered by the state. So they have this account that the money goes into. And the good thing is recipients of food stamps and TANF can keep that account locked. Now, the difference is that they can't treat TANF like an ATM card in the sense of like, I'm going to go to the store and use it to buy this or that.
And then it deducts it from the account.
Yeah, you can't deduct.
Right.
You go get cash. And the problem that the state says is if these people leave even a penny in there or $1 or $5, it's very vulnerable to theft.
It's just so odd. Okay, so what we've talked about this with food stamps too. I know our KSL5I team has worked on stories on that. You have uncovered this situation with this other taxpayer-funded benefit where families are just sounds like they're just going to left high and dry once these funds get stolen. What's the next step in this for KSL 5 in terms of the reporting?
Well, I'm really interested in what the federal government ultimately will do. The state has told me over and over, remember, this is a federal program. TANF, food stamps, all a federal government issue. And so ultimately the permanent fix lies with the federal government. I know for a lot of people that may not be very optimistic to hear, but the state says they are working with the federal government to try to come up with a permanent solution. And I'm really anxious to see what that's going to be, because not just with TANF, but with food stamps, there needs to be something bigger, these families say, to help prevent these funds from being stolen. The workaround is helping, but it's certainly not a permanent solution.
KSL 5 TV's Daniel Woodruff reporting on this TANF and food stamp theft. Thanks so much, Daniel, for being with us.
Thank you.
And Debbie, thank you so much for letting me join this show today. It was a wonderful time.
It was so fun.
I loved every second of it and every conversation, even though these are kind of a downer discussion here towards the end.
Well, what I really like about you coming in and joining us, Daniel, is you gave at least some advice on this temporary fix, and I think that offers some hope to families, because I would imagine it'd be downright scary to open up that portal and find the money is missing. So great advice. And you can read up on it at KSL5TV.com, and you can see Daniel almost every night reporting live on KSL5 TV. And Adam, the pleasure is all mine. It's always been a blast to work with you. Adam Gardner, you need to go take your kids now to watch the new movie.
Karate Kid.
Karate
We're doing
Kid.
it.
All right. And next, the movie show guys are up to talk all about it.
Discover the timeless value at Duke's Jewelers, a local treasure since 1948. Whether you're searching for a unique engagement ring or need expert watch repair,